Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a great day. Let's take another look here at Dogecoin, see what's going on. We're just going to talk a little bit about this liquidation here, the bearish rectangle pattern, but also some confirming factors in either direction too. We want to make sure we understand kind of what's going on to this plateau, so to speak, and kind of where we're at. I would say that at this point, from a bird's eye view, Dogecoin is looking pretty solid in the overall sense of how well it's responding to Bitcoin pulling back. But I do think that there's some other reasons too why we might want to just be careful with taking a long or a short, and just got to treat every situation with respect. So let's take a quick look at the backend data, kind of see what's going on. If you could, of course, do me a favor, hit the like button, comment below, do other people a favor too, help get this in front of more people so these moon boys stop getting all the views. It's nothing against them, it's just frustrating when I have people coming to my community and they've been destroyed by people that say just go long on everything, and it's just kind of nonsense. So just be careful in who you trust. Be careful trusting me too, honestly. I'm here to hopefully help teach you some things so you can be well informed and essentially do this on your own, hopefully. Okay, I've taught a lot of graduates and a lot of my traders have moved on to do this full-time or professionally. It's a lot of fun if you can do it right, but it does take the right kind of mindset or temperament, and you got to work at it. It's a daily thing. So let's take a look at the liquidation error. Excuse me. We can see there's a lot of liquidation on the downside, basically implying a lot of people taking longs that have high leverage liquidation right here. Because if you look at this, this is uncool in a lot of ways as far as, I mean, it's cool and not. And let me explain. What I mean by that is there's a lot of liquidation on the downside. The price action being so close to liquidation implies these are very high leveraged longs. And that's good and bad. See, it's good because the market makers like that, and that actually is what drives the price action. And yes, contrary to popular belief, as some people might say in the comments, there are such things as market makers, and we are not the ones pushing this price action higher or lower. Do you really think that people like you and I are selling all of our Dogecoin and the price just drops? No, that doesn't happen. People like you, perhaps, maybe not so much me, are just like, they're consistently buying and buying and buying with the hope of something going to the moon someday, because that's what the narrative is now. Popular beliefs are not good, so try not to just adhere to that. Yes, there's some people that make millions of dollars on this, but it's very few and far between. The whole point of me mentioning this is that we have a lot of liquidation down here, and those are high leverage longs. They're probably going to get destroyed here soon, just based on the simple fact that there is it acts like a magnet in a lot of ways. So the price action will pull towards those high liquidation levels just based on that sentiment alone. We also got a lot of liquidation down as low as 13.2 as well. So about $1 billion at 13.2, and pretty close to about 1.2, 1.3 billion as low as 13.4. So just know that that exists. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but the likelihood is higher. The reason why that's maybe a little less likely though to occur, just based on the simple fact that we have a lot of shorts in play here. We have more shorts than longs, as the liquidation delta implies, just kind of letting us know that that could reverse soon. In other words, a lot of times you see the price recover when there's too many traders going in one direction. Okay, just kind of that natural curve, if you will. And see, again, if it wasn't for market makers, that wouldn't even be a thing, because everybody would just take longs to the moon, right? That's generally how it's supposed to work, but it doesn't. So that's kind of where we're at. Anyway, so 14.6 is that point of open interest here. So people are extremely underwater because breakout traders tried to buy at 14.6 and now they're completely underwater. Again, it's just unfortunate and terrible, but it happens consistently. So let's talk about the data here and just kind of speak openly about what's going on. So first of all, Bitcoin is on the retrace. So just to clarify, kind of give you a baseline here, it's important to recognize with Bitcoin pulling back, respecting its descending trend line, breaking through 66,000, strong likelihood we see further downside. Just based on a lot of capitulation. The whole point of me mentioning Bitcoin, and you're probably scratching your head like, why the hell is this guy talking about Bitcoin? This is a Dogecoin analysis. The truth is every single coin is reliant on Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin still having a lot of liquidation left to the downside, and its delta also being fairly high, there's a strong chance we're going to probably see a little bit further more of a correction from Bitcoin, and that will coincide with Dogecoin too, because Doge has aligned itself fairly well with Bitcoin the last 24 to 48 hours. Let's take a look here though. First of all, when it comes to an RSI standpoint, RSI coming back down under 70, this is generally construed as a sell signal. So if you're in a long right now that you got in at 10, 11, 12, even 13 cents, you should have secured profit by now. That's basically what it's telling us. Now again, this isn't just the one thing to tell you to secure profits. A lot of it comes in the sense that you should always take a trade with targets in mind and not just arbitrarily take a long, high leverage trade and just hope for the best. If you don't have a goal or don't have a target, you're not going to be able to achieve such things, okay? Again, trading, you treat it like a business, you'll get those kind of results. Anyways, everything's pulling back here. And again, that's not a bearish sign. It's just letting us know it's not bullish and money's flowing away from this coin. While we're above the larger term scenarios here, not necessarily a trend line, but we're above all moving averages, which are trend lines in themselves. We're still in pretty good shape, but it doesn't mean that you can't still pull back, right? I mean, literally, in most cases, I draw a trend line out with a 20-day SMA. Hypothetically, the price could literally come down to like 12.5 and we'd still be considered bullish, right? So just keep that in mind. So again, the macro is bullish, but don't get it twisted. It doesn't mean the price just goes up because of that. We want to look at this here, though. This is a good level to kind of coincide here as well. We can see that previous high, roughly about 12.8. There's a solid chance if the price continues to run, 12.8 would be probably a solid pivot point. I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see the 0.618 fib level first, but it's just me thinking out loud. In fact, let's go ahead and remove these fib levels here. I'll draw out some new ones here for our macro movement here, just so we can kind of get perspective. I'll post that on our playout chart here on Twitter, Telegram, and Discord soon. So bearish rectangle, what does this mean for us? Well, generally speaking, it implies with the price coming from the upside, it works itself into a channel. It's essentially soon to break down. Now, again, a lot of coins are breaking down or have broken down, so to speak, from their bearish rectangles. So you got to recognize these patterns aren't like the reason why the price is doing that. The patterns exist because of what the price is doing. So you got to recognize that this is more like the effect, not the cause. So when people say, oh, it's a bull flag or whatever, that's not the reason to take a trade. It's simply a icing on the cake to identify, and a quick way to identify what's going on with the price action. The key takeaway here is that we've retested this lower low 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times rather, in the last 24 to 48 hours. So we've seen a consistent knocking on the door here, this support level at 13.6, and the price is going to run if it continues to break down that level. So again, there's that, all right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you just take a short because of it. While we have a short open right now, it's in pretty good profit. I don't necessarily recommend taking a short at the bottom, right? You want to wait for that level to be broken first. So I'll explain what a good example would be like that for that here soon, but we're under 50 on the RSI. We've been kind of wavering above and below. Generally not a good sign to take a long. MACD, stochastic, TSI, everything is very much low, but it's not super low, which implies we have further downside potential. So I like that the RSI is just below 50. That's a perfect place to consider a short. And again, I'm throwing that out there as an idea. I'm not telling you to take a short, but you're probably gonna have more success going down than up at this point, considering just the price action of how the market's moving. Keep in mind, this coin has done very well about responding and working within its range, but it looks like it's breaking down pretty well here and having difficulty. I would say if we close below 13.6, 13.7 is a round number, then we're more likely to see further downside, because a lot of times you'll see those levels become resistances, which was a previous support. Okay, so Ichimoku cloud, here's another confirming factor. When you're below the cloud, it's construed as a bearish sign. Again, just to kind of give you perspective, it's kind of like a series of moving averages. So until we break back up above, which would require us to, at the very least, close at 14.1, 14.2 or higher, we have no reason to consider a long. Now again, you could consider a long with this range-bound trading, right? Trading within a range is a very successful way to trade. That's more so from a scalper's, day trader's perspective, though. You don't trade range-bound activity as a swing trader. You don't set it and forget it. You literally watch it the entire time. Having said that, outside of that, if that's not your faux pas or whatever it is you specialize in, you got to recognize from a swing trader's perspective, it makes way more sense to short than long, especially with all this liquidation on the downside. There's a lot of fair value left to be reclaimed as well, because the price jumped up way too fast. And with Bitcoin kind of on the razor's edge right now, I think we're probably going to see a pretty crude dump here from Dogecoin. So just kind of throwing it out there, these are just what the charts are telling us here. Okay, the lag and spans free and clear conversion line and the baseline are, while they're close, we still have more momentum to the downside. It's unusual to see this kind of breakout in a descending trend, or sorry, a horizontal trend, but that's why the bearish rectangles exist, because they generally just give us good perspective on trend lines here, or in this case, support levels that are running, and the trend is running horizontally. Either way, let me go ahead and summarize here. I think Dogecoin is due to continue lower. Again, a lot of that premise is based on me expecting Bitcoin to pull back too. So careful taking a short right now. Again, it's still just as high of a risk as it is taking a long. Actually, technically, it's a lot lower risk, but it's still high risk to take a short. So when you short coins, folks, you got to recognize it comes with an inherently larger risk, because there's no limit to how high the price can go. That's why you can get totally destroyed on shorts. But there's always a limit to how low the price can go. Okay, and generally speaking, most coins don't go to zero unless it's Terra, Luna or whatever from before with the whole FTX thing. So conversation for another day. At this point, just be careful when taking trades. Once again, I'm leaning more towards the price going down. What we're looking for here is a bearish backtest of this descending trend, so it would look something like this. A lot of times you'll see the price action hit that level and retest it again after it's broken it. Okay, so if we come down a little bit lower, just say 13.6, 13.5, better case scenario, the price comes up to reject off that local low and continues lower. That's usually how it works. All right, thanks again for watching, folks. Oh, sorry, one more thing. This is equally as important. I get this question a lot. Yes, these deposit bonus rewards are paid out within 24 hours. Keep in mind, their clock is different than our clock, so the simple way to understand it is that Bitunix is a no KYC or VPN exchange community. Our community has been using them for a long time. You are automatically eligible for it if you use my link to register in the past. If you want to consider joining the crew, jump on down. Link's down below. It's an awesome exchange. I think you're going to love them. So either way, thanks again for just being an awesome part of my life. Don't forget to hit the like button. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.